Hey, it's Jay, and welcome back to the
Three,
channel.
two, one,
This
brawl!
is episode 2 of Getting Better at Brawlhalla, a series where I find tips, tricks, and other information related to getting better and improving at Brawlhalla. So, in my quest to, get better at Brawlhalla, kind of stumbled on a unexpected roadblock, and that is the question of what do I improve? Now, of course, this may seem like a silly question, but my first thought was like, well, it's a platform fighting game. Maybe I should just improve how well I fight. So I quickly learned that pulling off a combo on a stationary bot or an extreme bot or a chosen bot, training mode or learning a new combo in training mode does not always effectively translate to, being better. Don't get me wrong, like these combos can work and they do work, but what I've noticed is that combos and the way I play the game, even if I know an advanced combo, the way I play the game generally doesn't allow me like execute these combos as effectively. Sometimes it's my opponent who seems to know exactly what move I'm going for or how I'm going to behave, and therefore they are more skilled at avoiding my combos. So in the quest of improvement, we're not going to immediately start on just improving raw fighting potential, but I would like to start by improving something that I think is a little bit more valuable, and that would be, increasing my knowledge of the game mechanics, what is there in the game, what I can manipulate to give myself a better advantage. And in doing so, I kind of did some research and it answered a question I had, or a few questions I had. There are like a few terms that were mentioned about Brawlhalla. You're watching a content creator, they may casually in passing mention a term, and sometimes I would get it, other times I would not understand what they were talking about. So before I, go directly or dive directly into improving how well I fight at this game, I'd like to improve my knowledge, my general knowledge of the game. So in this video, this isn't exactly every term or concept, and the definitions given are definitions that I find may not be perfect. Some of this stuff I kind of inferred it or gathered a sort of definition from basically what was explained to me by other content creators or the pros at the game. So feel free to leave a comment with the terms I missed, or if you have a better explanation, feel free to leave a comment with a better explanation. If you're really into that, you can just put the hashtag #BetterOne in the comments and give your better explanation. And if you have another term, well, you can use the hashtag #AnotherOne as the extra term and definition you're planning to give.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
First, we have active frames,
3, 2,
which active
1,
frames,
brawl!
from what I gathered, is used to determine the duration of an attack. So how long an attack hitbox stays. So for example, a move with high active frame that comes to mind right off the bat is Kaya Spear Downsig, which if you hold it, it has a lot of active frames. Active input, which I believe is a game mechanic, mostly on Scythe, but it's also on a few signatures in the game that gives you the ability to control the direction that your opponent is sent. Next thing is approaching, which I'm not exactly sure if this definition is correct, but the act of initiating combat with an opponent usually entails, getting close enough to land a hit successfully. Then I heard the term a lot, baiting, which is the act of luring or tricking your opponent into doing a move that leaves them in a vulnerable state, which gives you the ability to, hit them. Cooldown. So, heard a lot about cooldown. Is like, I think it's just a simple way of saying how long before you can do either the same move again or do any move at all. So I'm not exactly sure on that. It's like how long it takes before. So moves with high cooldown takes longer for you to do the same move over again. Next term I've heard a lot as of recently is dash canceling, which I think is predominantly used by greatsword players. I may be wrong on this, as a means of extending the string potential of the weapon. So it prevents the bridge or the finisher part of the combo from happening, therefore giving them the ability to continue a combo. Next term, dodge window. A term that I've seen in training mode where I'm practicing, and I usually think it's like it shows when it will be possible for your opponent to have their dodge and use it to get out of a combo or a string that you're forming. Next is edge guarding, which is the practice of preventing your opponent from touching the wall or returning back to the stage. Next term, the two types of force, which are fixed force and variable force. So fixed force does not change, as the term states, fixed, and is constant regardless of damage, what stats you have, or charge time. And variable force is affected by all of those other things I mentioned. So variable force is affected by how much damage you have, what stats you have, and how long a move has been charged. Next term is iframes, usually used to signify when a person is invulnerable, so you can't attack them or you can't do damage to them, and it usually happens during a respawn, during a dodge, and during a chase dodge. Another term is knockback. I think it's closely related to force, and usually used to talk about how far an opponent will be thrown away from the source of where they were hit, so how far away they'll be thrown from the point they were hit. Next we have ledge cancel, which is an advanced technique from what I've tried to do myself and what I've gathered from a lot of people, which a ledge cancel allows you to immediately transition into performing a downlight, down signature, a ground pound, or dash when the bottom of your character's hurt box is in the platform. So when it's a specific frame in the platform, you can perform a edge cancel. Next, we have a term that I've heard a lot about, which is mix-ups. The act of changing your pattern of movement, attacks, dodges, reactions mid-fight. Next we have momentum. So momentum usually refers to additional movement that happens after a high mobility action. So for instance, a dodge or a chase dodge or a dash, you have some momentum that keeps you going or traveling in the direction that your dodge or your chase dodge or dash was performed in. Then you have something called momentum canceling, which is stopping that extra movement that you get from your dodge or your dash by doing a move or turning in the opposite direction, doing a move in the opposite direction or turning in the opposite direction. Another term that I heard which is neutral, and I believe this is the position that you start in at the beginning of the match where neither person has an advantage over the other. And then neutral game is the process of trying to get the upper hand on your opponent. So if you're playing in the neutral game, you're trying to give yourself an advantage where you are in a better position to damage or control the flow of the match. Next, we have punishing, the act or process of dealing damage to your opponent or doing a wrong move, being too predictable, jumping a certain way, using a dodge. You would punish them for or making a mistake in any way, shape, or form. Now, reading, like predicting, is using the info about the game or your opponent to accurately decipher what moves they're going to do next. Now, people usually follow specific patterns in game, and a read is noticing those patterns and punishing your opponent for following the same pattern. And I believe there are multiple types of reads: the dodge read, the jump read, and the attack read, if I am not mistaken, which are the three main types of reading. Yeah, so these are the terms I have. I know I probably missed a few, and if I did, really appreciate it if you would leave a comment telling me what terms I missed, or if you have a better explanation for a term that I've stated, or a better example for a term that I've stated.
Feel free to drop a comment using one of the hashtags.
Thanks for watching the video. I'm not exactly sure how long this video will be, so thank you for watching. Hopefully see you in the next video.
And if you like what you saw or like what you heard, you can do me a favor and drop a subscribe, drop a like. Really goes a long way. Really appreciate it. And yeah, peace.